Welcome to our academic channel of Başkent. Today we are going to focus on Unit 2. The topics are the present perfect tense, regular and irregular verbs, possessive case. First of all, we are going to start with present perfect tense. Let's start. How to use the present perfect tense? We use the present perfect tense when we want to talk about unfinished actions or states or habits that started in the past and continue to the present. We also use this tense to talk about experiences. The time of experience is not important. It is important if we did or not. There are actions or events that happen sometime during a person's life. We don't say when the experience happened. Let's look at some examples. I have been to Canada 3 times. Jack has never broken a leg. Have you ever eaten sushi? So, in these 3 sentences, as you can see, the time is not really important. The action is more important than the time. Look at the sentence, please. Have you ever eaten sushi? The action is there if you are eaten or not, but the time is not important. There is a note. Ever and never is mostly used in the present perfect tense to talk about experiences. We use the present perfect tense to talk about an action which started in the past and continues up to now. Let's look at the examples, please. I have been a teacher for more than 10 years. We haven't seen each other since March. We often use since and for to say how long ago the action has started. In the first sentence, I have been a teacher for more than 10 years. Here, we can understand that I have been a teacher for more than 10 years. In this sentence, we haven't seen each other since March means how long ago the action has started. We know it started in March. That's why we say we haven't seen each other since March. The action started in the past and continues up to now. We use the present perfect tense to talk about a past action that has a result in the present. Let's look at the examples. I have lost my phone. I don't have it now. As you can see, we are talking about a past action and the result is in the present. I have lost my phone and now I don't have it. The other example, Sally has gone to Canada. Now she isn't here. Here we can understand that she has gone to Canada, but now she isn't here. We talk about the past action, but the result is in the present. We often use just, already, and yet for an action in the past with the result in the present. How to form the present perfect tense? We form the present perfect tense with the correct form of the auxiliary verb have or has and the past participle. This is the third form of the main verb. Let's look at the examples. I have worked as a nurse for 10 years. Here we can see that we use have plus verb 3, the third form of the verb, it is worked. Have you ever visited Rome? Here we use the auxiliary verb have and the third form of the verb visited. The film hasn't started yet. Here again we use has, the auxiliary verb, and started, the past participle of the main verb. Let's look at the positive form. With the subjects I, you, we, and they, we use the auxiliary verb have. But when the subject is he, she, or it, we have to use has. Let's look at the examples. I have visited a lot of countries. You have eaten sushi. He, she, or it has been to France. We have finished our homework. You have seen this show before. And they have bought a new house. Let's look at the negative forms. Here again, with I, you, we, you, and they, we use the negative form of have, it is haven't, or we can use the long form have not. But with he, she, and it, we use hasn't, or you can say has not. Let's look at the sentences. I haven't visited a lot of countries. You haven't eaten sushi. He, she, or it hasn't been to France. We haven't finished our homework. You haven't seen this show before. And the last sentence, they haven't bought a new house. Question form. In the question form, haven't has is in the beginning of the sentence. Have I visited a lot of countries? Have you eaten sushi? Has he, she, or it been to France? Have we finished our homework? Have you seen this show before? And have they bought a new house? As you can see, haven't has, the auxiliary verb, is in the beginning of the sentence. If we want to know more detailed information, we can use question words in the present perfect tense. Information questions with the present perfect tense. What have I done? In this question, you can see that the question words are in the beginning of the question. You can use different question words such as what, how long, how many times, where, and when. What have I done? How long have you been married? How many times has he, she, or it done this? How long have we been together? Where have you been? And when have they bought a new house? Let's look at the affirmative form, the positive form. As you can see, with I, you, we, and they, we use have plus the third form of the verb, and with he, she, it, we use has plus the third form of the verb. Let's look at the picture, please. I have cleaned the windows. In this picture, she has eaten her soup. Let's look at the negative. With I, you, we, they, we use have not, or we can say haven't plus the third form of the verb. With he, she, it, we use has not, or the short form hasn't plus the past participle of the verb. Let's look, please. He hasn't made his bed. Next picture. We haven't drunk coffee. Questions. Have I, you, we, they plus the third form. Has he, she, it plus the third form of the verb. Has he done his homework? Have you read the book? Now let's focus on the time expressions with present perfect. The most common time expressions with the present perfect tense are already, just, and yet. Already means that something happened earlier than we have expected. Already usually goes after have and has and before the main verb. I have already had my lunch. As you can see, already is between have and has and the main verb. They have already done their homework. Just. Just means something happened a short time ago. Examples: have you bought the tickets? Yes, I have just bought them. It means that this action happened a short time ago. I have just bought them. Look, that man has just stolen a lady's purse. Here we can understand that the purse was stolen a short time ago. Yet. Yet means that something has happened or hasn't happened. We usually use it at the end of the sentence and with the question forms. Has the post arrived yet? Here you can see there's a question. Have you done your homework? Not yet. Time expressions with present perfect. Since. We use since with the time when the action started. Since last year, since 1960, since my mother's birthday. Here we know when the action started. For. We use for with a period of time. Here we don't know when the action started, but we know the period of time. It is for 2 weeks, for an hour, for 5 years. Ever and never. We use ever in questions to ask about experiences. Ever means at any time in your life. Have you ever been to Spain? Here we use a question. Yes, I have. No, never. We use never to make a negative statement. Never means at no time in your life. I have never told a lie. She has never traveled abroad. Here we can understand that never means at no time in your life. It's time to practice. Let's look at the sentences and complete the sentences with the correct form of the present perfect tense. Here we have 8 sentences. Please try to complete the sentences using the present perfect tense. Now you have time to complete it. Please do it. Okay, now let's look at the answers. My mother has written a lot of songs. You have worked for 10 months. My friend has bought a new car. Have you told her the truth? Have you ever been to London? I am really hungry because I haven't eaten. It has rained for a very long time. And, oh no, she has lost my mobile phone. Please check your answers. regular and irregular verbs. There are two forms of past participle. They are regular forms and irregular forms. Regular and irregular. With the regular verb, you know we have to add E and D, such as played, watched, and stayed. Irregular verbs, as you know, they change. They have a different form in the past participle form, such as gone, spoken, taught, and eaten. Let's look at some examples. Draw, drave, drawn. This is the third form of the verb. Make a sentence. They have drawn a zebra. Read, read, read. He has read a book. Write, wrote, written. I have written a letter. This picture, buy, bought, bought. I have bought a video game. Eat, ate, eaten. She has eaten an ice cream. Lose, lost, lost. I have lost the chess game. Drink, drank, drunk. I have drunk some lemonade. Sell, sold, sold. I have sold my video games. And teach, taught, taught. My teacher has taught me science. Now let's practice. Complete the irregular verbs with the correct form. Go, went. Teach, taught. Win, won. Eat, ate. Keep, kept. Freeze, froze. Drink, drank. And sit, sat. Complete the table using the third form of the irregular verb. Please complete the table. You have time to do it. Okay, let's check together, please. Here are the answers. Go, went, gone. Teach, taught, taught. Win, won, won. Eat, ate, eaten. Keep, kept, kept. Freeze, froze, frozen. Drink, drank, drunk. And sit, sat, sat. Let's continue with the possessive case. How to form and use the possessive s. An apostrophe is always used with a singular noun in order to indicate possession of an item or items by an individual. Examples: the coat of the boy, or we can say the boy's coat. Here we are indicating a possession of an item. We say the boy's coat. The tail of the cat. We say the cat's tail. We use the apostrophe s for singular nouns. We can also use the apostrophe s with names. The dog's bone, Tom's car, Tina's house, and the cat's tuna. Words with irregular plurals that don't end in s are made possessive as if they were singular, that is, by adding an apostrophe s. Examples. Wool of the sheep. Sheep's wool. There was a long line to the women's room. This is the end of the presentation. Thanks for watching and take care.